Alright, so the camera is down here looking at our scale. We can see it's pretty level here. Actually, it looks like it threw a perfect charge of 6.5 grains, which is what I'm trying to load these bullets with. That's a proven load that with the 115 grain bullet that I know works with my gun. So anyway, I'm going to dump this back into the powder assembly here, and then I'm going to run it through one more time. I'm going to double check that it's still throwing the correct amount. Alright, make sure I get all the powder out here. I'm going to check that scale again. Right here it's level, that's at the 0 point. Probably can't read it very well. There we go. So we know that we're throwing a consistent charge, and I've made thousands of bullets using this charge, so I'm going to set it and forget it. Okay, so now that we've done all that stuff, we want to get the primers from this primer tube into the primer feeding area of the shell plate. And usually it takes, I've counted a few times, I think it's like 7 or 8 pulls until they start getting close. And the reason why I do this is because if I had shells in there, then they'd start coming out, and you'd pop the primer out, and then they'd go for a powder, and since they don't have a primer in there, the powder just fall out when it gets a powder charge. So let me move the camera so you guys can see what the primers look like as they're going in. Anyways, as I prime this stuff, we will start to see little primers as the shell plate turns right here. Maybe we'll notice one. There's one right there. So I know they're feeding. There's another one. So it's time to put some shells in the tube. And what we do for that is we flip this button, and magically shells start falling in. So our shell tube is full and ready to start popping some shells right here. And when this thing goes up, the shell plate will drop a shell in there. You can see the shell is going to get pushed in. Alright, there's a primer. I was too slow. I should have done this one more pull before. That primer will come out down a little chute so we can reuse it later. Anyway, now the next time I pull up, we're going to deprime and resize that shell. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to pop out the primer, and now on this next one, see it moves into the next assembly, and by pushing the lever all the way forward, that's going to seat the primer. We don't want to do that until we put our safety glasses on, though, because you never know what might happen with those primers. I'm still scared of loading those things. Anyways, we're going to push forward here, and we're going to be able to feel the primer go into the shell, which I'm not feeling. Oh, because it's in already. Went in really easy. As I pull this lever now, it's going to go up there. It's going to get belled so it'll accept a bullet, and it's going to get a powder charge. And now, of course, I'm having a jam. I'm going to set our new primer and visually inspect that I have the right powder level in here. I'm going to grab a bullet. And now that it's in station 4, I'm going to put the bullet on. I just seated a new primer too by pushing forward all the way on the handle. I'm going to inspect this next cartridge. Pull down this thing. We just seated the bullet. Primed, deprimed, resized, powder charged. Repriming. Put a bullet on. Inspect. Now we just crimped it in station 5. Now, as I bring the lever up, it's going to eject that finished bullet into my little collection tray over here. Anyway, I think you're catching the drift here, so let's rip through these. I like to grab a handful and just kind of spin them as in my fingers so that they're ready to get installed. So let's do it. Forgot to install one of our little things that holds the shells in place at each station. Let's show you guys another view. Here's something that happens from time to time. I have a sorting mechanism to separate 45, 40, 9mm. However, 9mm and 380 are the same, and sometimes if a 380 shell gets mixed in, it'll go through the process mostly. You know, it'll get primed and the powder charge like this one has, and then when you try to install a bullet, because it's not tall enough to get belled out, the bullet won't fit. And that quickly tells you that you need to pull this one off the line. Mix this with my other 380 brass that's already primed.